Okay, in the previous session, we have discussed about the IAM. We have created some roles and groups and roles. Okay, so today I am going to show you how to use some developer tools with some roles. Okay, so first let me log into my AWS console. Okay, it is asking the authentication code. 46086. Okay, so I have logged into my AWS account. So so first of all, briefly introduction about what is CodeCommit. Suppose if you are working with any organizations, so if we are working as a developer, so we need if one team is working on a particular application, they need some versioning, because so multiple people working on the same pages or same lines of code and same modules. So if they are not using the version control systems, so they cannot maintain a proper versions, and they cannot maintain full code with other users. Suppose two persons are working on the same file. Okay, so one person modified some 10th line and another person also modified in the 10th line. So how they can collaborate with teams in their development, they have to use some version control systems. So AWS code commit giving the version control provision, it is backed by Git. Okay, it's a Git repository like GitHub or Bitbucket. So AWS CodeCommit also one of the hosted repository provider. Okay, so we can create a Git repository in AWS CodeCommit, and we can add users to that repository. So using the IAM, in the IAM we can create a users, and we can assign permissions to that users. Okay, based on their permissions, they can access the GitHub AWS CodeCommit repositories, and uh, they can clone the repository, and they can do some modifications, and they can commit and push back to the AWS code commit. Okay, is it clear? So where we can find AWS code commit service? Okay, so we have to click on services. So go to developer tools. Here we have a code commit. Okay, you can click on this code commit. Okay, currently it is CodeCommit is not available in US West region. Okay, please select another region. So currently CodeCommit is supporting only Virginia. Okay, so we have to change our region to Virginia. Okay. Okay, currently there are no CodeCommit repositories available here. Okay, we have to create a new repository. Okay, so you can click on get started. So here is asking a repository name and some description. Okay, we have to give a repository name here. Let me give code commit lab. Okay, this is my repository name. So this is a sample code commit lab repository. Okay, so and then create. Okay, we have created one repository here. Currently in this there are no code here. So we have this is the empty repository. How we can clone this repository and how we can add some code to this repository. So we can take the URL from here, click on this clone URL. So it will give you the SSH and HTTPS. So if you want to connect to through SSH, we can take this SSH or HTTPS. Okay, so we can see the commits history in the uh, commits tab. Okay, and if you want to create a triggers, we can create a triggers here. Okay, and the settings, in the settings tab we can see the repository name and URL and the service ARN. Okay, so everything we can see the description about the CodeCommit repository we can see here. Okay, if you want to delete the repository, we can delete the repository from here. Okay, so let me go to code. Let me first add users to this repository. Go to services, IAM. Okay, in the IAM, let me go to users. Okay, so who are in the, let me go to groups, developers. There are two users, Suresh and Satish. Let me go to users, Suresh and Satish. I have to set up the password for this Satish user. Okay, click on security credentials. So manage password, custom password. So I have configured my password policies with one upper character, one lower character, one letter like that. Okay. Okay, I have set up the password for this user. Okay, and see here, if this user want to connect with through SSH, we have to generate the SSH key and we can upload the SSH key to this user. So how we can generate a SSH key? So if you have a Linux system access, you can, or you can use existing EC2 instance. Okay, so let me SSH key keygen. Okay, so it is a generating the public and private key pair here. Okay, enter a file in which save the directory. So by default it is saving this file in this directory. So I don't want to save here. I want to save this file. Better leave it here only. So otherwise we have to set some configuration here. So home. You can just press enter, it will take the default value. I am not giving any password for this private key file. Okay, give blank. Okay, same password again. Okay, it was generated the key here. So where we can find that key, so you can refresh here. Here we have a .ssh folder. Okay, you can go to .ssh. Okay, click on the .ssh. So this is the public key we have to use. This public key we have to this public key will be stored in the repository. We have to take this private key file. Sorry. Add this public key, edit this public key, and copy this content and go to your AWS management console. So here upload SSH public key. Okay, click on upload. You can paste your SSH key here. Okay, and then upload SSH public key. Okay, this key was uploaded for this user. Okay, okay, but this user should have the right permissions. Okay, this user have the already AWS code commit power user. Okay, we have attached this policy to clone the repository and commit the code to that repository. Okay, we have already given assigned this policy to developers groups who are in the developers group. They can access that repository and they can read and write the they can read and they can do read and write operations on the repository. Okay, so if we give only read permissions, so they can just clone the repository and they cannot do any write operations, means they cannot commit, they cannot push and pull. Okay, so I have created a new user and I have assigned AWS code commit power user policy to that user. Okay, and I have uploaded a public key to that user. Okay, so now we can clone this repository with that user. Okay, so now let me take this URL, click on clone URL, SSH. Okay, copy this URL and go to Putty session. Okay, so I am here. So let me run the git clone SSH. Okay, here it is showing the git command not found. Okay, let me install the git. So to install the git, we have to run the command sudo. If it is a Red Hat or CentOS, we have to use the yum command. If it is a Ubuntu, we have to use the apt-get. Okay, sudo yum install git. Okay, so it is asking, is this okay? Yeah. So here git was installed. You can search git. Okay, it is working. So now git clone. So this is the repository URL, apt-get. Instead of yum, we have to use apt-get. Okay, so git clone and the repository URL and then enter. So it is authenticating for host git commit git-codecommit.usest. This is the URL. Okay, and it is asking, are you sure you want to continue connecting? Yes. Click on enter. Please make sure you have correct access rights. Let me try one more time. Yes. Permanently added. So here the nonce list, permission denied, public key, could not read from remote repository. Let me check the So let me check in the authorized file. This key was added to authorized keys. Code apply. Almost. Okay, now let me take this key to my SSH folder. Okay, I am copying this ID underscore RSA private key file to my local system. Okay, so now let me open the command prompt, git clone, and the repository URL. Okay, it is asking could not read from remote repository. Let me check any permissions is missed. So we can see the documentation from here. So in the documentation, how we can connect to the GitHub AWS CodeCommit repositories. So if you want to use the HTTPS protocol, we have to install the AWS command line client. Okay, AWS CLI. Using that, we can connect through HTTPS. Not this one. This one, prerequisite connect to CodeCommit repository. You can check here. So here, see here for SSH connections on Windows, you can follow this documentation. So first initial configuration for AWS CodeCommit, install Git and configure credentials on Windows and connect to the AWS CodeCommit console and clone the repository. So this one, so we have created a IAM user and we have assigned that user. So we have already generated this public and private key and we have uploaded that public key to that user. After you have uploaded a key, copy or paste save information SSH key ID, for example. So where we have to put. This is not correct way. Okay, for HTTPS connection, we have to initial configuration of CodeCommit. So this is what we have done already. So we can download the AWS CLI from here. So you can click the installing the AWS CLI. How we have to download the installer and we have to install that CLI. So it is very straightforward installation in the Windows system. Okay, so once we install the command line AWS CLI, so next we have to configure our access key and security key. So when we are creating the user, we got the access key and security key, right? We have to configure that access key and security key in the config file, AWS CLI config file, so that it will generate the runtime password and it will connect. So some security is there in the AWS CodeCommit. So using the AWS access key and security key, it will generate the dynamic password. So the password will be expiring within 15 minutes. Okay, that password, using that password, we can connect to that repository in 15 minutes time only. Okay, after that the password will expire after 15 minutes. Okay, so let me configure the AWS install. Configuring the AWS CLI. So we have to run this command AWS configure. Next we have to give the access key ID and security key ID and the region and default output and format enter. Okay, so let me AWS CLI sudo yum in the Linux Red Hat environment. Okay, let me launch from here. AWS configure. It is asking the ID. Let me apt-get. Let me type in the okay, please try after the session. So let me open this credentials file. So this is not the file. Credentials. So in this Satish, I think so this is the access key. So I have to enter in the terminal. So paste here. So on the security key. Enter. And the region for this, we can go to AWS Management Console. So it is showing the region US-East one. This is the region. Okay, you can copy this one and go to the command prompt and paste here. enter, and default output format none, can enter. Okay, now we can do the clone using HTTPS protocol. Okay, now let me git clone and go to AWS management console, click on clone URL, click on HTTPS. So this is the HTTPS URL, copy it and go to command prompt, paste here. Okay, it is here it is asking the username for this. Username is Satish. And the password for this user able to access is written 403. Sorry, I entered wrong one. Let me copy this access key. Right click on window, paste here, copy the security key. Sorry. Right click on the window and mark edit, paste here, enter. 403 git code commit. Okay, so let's don't waste time on this. Let me generate the password for that. Okay, this is the code to generate the dynamic password from using from the access key and security key. Okay. Okay, let me change the access key here. This is the security key. Okay, and let me copy the URL from this AWS CodeCommit management console. Go to Eclipse, copy here. Okay, so now let me run this. Okay, so this is the username for this. Let me go to command prompt. Okay, it is asking the username and paste the username here, and the password is here. Let me copy the password. Copy the password. Okay, go to command prompt and paste here. Enter. So here there is a warning. You have appeared to have a clone an empty repository. Okay, checking connectivity done. Okay, so there is nothing to clone the repository. Okay, but it is actually clone. Can you see the there? So the name is CodeCommit Lab. Okay, let me change to the CodeCommit Lab. Okay, you can see there are no directories available here. So I want to commit some code here. So let me put some code in that. Okay, so this is my sample application. Okay, so I am going to commit this code into this repository. So where is it? Yeah, CodeCommit Lab. So I'm pasting the files here. Okay, so next we have to run the commands. So git add star will add all the files here, so you can check the git status. Okay, these all files are added to the staging area. So now let's commit this. Git commit fnm. So initial commit for code commit service. Okay, so these files are checked in committed to local repository. Okay, in the git is actually distributed repository. So commit means it will commit to your local repository only. Okay, once you push this code to remote repository, then only other team members can access this code. So otherwise other team members cannot access this. Okay, its commit is in your local repository commit. Okay, so now do the git push -u is upward push. Okay, so origin is the name of this remote, and I'm going to put this changes to master branch. Okay, it is asking the username. So let me copy. This is the username. SSH Key is the username here we are using. So copy here, paste, enter, and copy the password and paste here, edit, paste, enter. Okay, this code was pushed to AWS CodeCommit repository. So let me go to repository here. Just click on here, go to commits. So here we have a commit, initial commit for CodeCommit service. Okay, so Srinivasrao M is committed 2 minutes ago. Okay, so this is the commit ID. Okay, if you want to see the code, you can go to the click on code. So these are the files I have committed in this commit. Is it clear? Okay, here we can see the list of commits here. If you want to create a new branch, we can create a branch here. So let me create branches from here. Okay, So if you want to create a triggers, we can create a trigger. Suppose, so when committees happen, so you want to get notifications, you can create a trigger here. So in the trigger, we have to put a some trigger name, and we have to choose the event type. So what type of events you want to fire this trigger. So all repository events are push exits on branch, or create a branch attack, delete branch attack. So at what time you want to trigger a event. Okay, you can send that notifications to Mgen SNS service. It is a simple notification service, or you can send to AWS Lambda. Okay, so to configure Amazon SNS, we have to create a SNS topic here. Okay, so we will see this tomorrow. Okay, so now let me cancel this. Okay, this is how we can create a repositories in the CodeCommit, and we have to set up the AWS CLI, and we have to configure our access key and security key. Based on that, it will automatically generate the runtime password, and it will connect to AWS CodeCommit repository. Okay, and okay, so next one is
Shri, a doubt here.
yeah.
In real time, how many companies will be using this repository? I hope they will be having their own repositories, right?
Yeah, they will having GitHub repositories or Bitbucket. So who are adapting to the AWS services, they will definitely use this AWS CodeCommit, because it is a Git repository. So instead of GitHub or Bitbucket, it is a more secure.
Okay. So in real time, in companies, they are using this. You mean to tell, right?
Yeah.
The people who are using AWS.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And the next concept is AWS code deploy. So let me. Okay, so what is the code deploy? Code deploy is, so whenever you are developing a code, so you want to deploy your code to multiple environments. So you have to create your application. You can using that application, you can deploy a, a particular commit to multiple environments. So suppose if you want to deploy a SIT environment or QA environment, so you have to create a code pipe, code deploy application, and in that we can select the branch or a repository branch and a particular commit. We can deploy a single commit to multiple systems. Okay, so that is the advantage. And so what are the other advantages? Service that automates the code deployment to any instances like EC2 instances, or if you have a on-premise instances in your local private network, so we can deploy to those networks also. If you configure a proper networking system in your local organization. Okay, and it helps rapidly release a new feature. Suppose if we have a new release, we can release very quickly, so using this code deploy, and it helps avoid downtime. Suppose if you are not using the code deploy services, so if you want to deploy your application to different systems, we need some downtime to up and running that application, because we have to first stop the server, and we have to take a backup, and we have to deploy again, and we have to start the services. So this code deploy will do all these things automatically. So once you configure your application using the code deploy, so it will uh, it will take a backup and it will deploy the change to your selected instances. So it will deploy to multiple instances as well. Okay, so next one is automate the software deployments. If you want to automate your applications deployment automation, we can use the code deploy. So this is the general architecture of AWS CodeCommit. So let's say in the first step, so developer will work on this in his development machine. So in this we need one file app spec. In this app spec, we will write the hooks, what type of actions you want to perform while you're doing the deployment. So we have to we have to write that kind of hooks in this app spec file. So it will read AWS code deploy will read this app spec file, and it will perform those actions. What are the actions you have specified in the app spec hooks area? So it will execute those commands. Okay. So once developer is code developed in his machine, and he will check into that code to GitHub repository or buckets, Amazon S3 buckets or AWS CodeCommit. So once that code is checked into any one of these repositories, so next we have to run the AWS code deploy. Okay, once you check in the code to Amazon S3 or Amazon CodeCommit or GitHub, we have to next fire the AWS code deploy service. So what it will do, AWS code deployment management logic and meta deployment metadata will have the code deploy configuration. Okay, once we fire this code deploy service, so it will take the configuration when you are creating the AWS code deploy application. So it will read that configuration and it will perform the deployment. So if it is a single instance or multiple instances, it will do the deployment to based on your code deploy configuration. Okay, like let's say assume this is Amazon EC2 instance, so it will deploy to that instance. Okay. So even if you configure the auto scaling group or load balancing, it will automatically deploy to the all instances. You can select them. Okay. So so what are the things we require to use the code deploy? First, we have to install the Ruby, and we have to install the wget to download the latest command line, latest S3 access in your system. Okay, and these commands we can execute while launching your EC2 instance also. So there is an option while launching the EC2 instance user data. There you can put some commands. So once your EC2 instance is ready, those commands will execute automatically. So you no need to perform these things manually. Okay. So next one is, if you are using the GitHub repository, we have to follow this creating a repository. Or if you are using a code AWS code commit, same way in the AWS code commit also, we have to create a new repository, and we have to clone the repository to into your local system, and we have to add some files to repository, and do add those files to local repository, commit and push. Okay, so next we have to create some roles to perform these AWS code deploy operations. So we have to create two roles. One is the IAM role for instance profile. So this next one is IAM role for service profile. Instance profile means when you are creating a EC2 instance, we have to select that instance profile. So based on that role, it will access those services in that EC2 instance. Service role is, a service role is access between the role to role, service to service access, and instance profile is, it will access what are the policies you have attached to that role. That based on that policies, it will access the roles from that particular EC2 instance. Service role is, you can use that service role anywhere, like in other services. So it is a role to role communication, and that is a instance to roles communication. Okay, so here we have to create two roles. One is the code deploy instance role. So in that we have to go add the policies Amazon EC2 role for AWS code commit. So this allows EC2 instance under code deploy to access S3. Okay, and another one is auto scaling notification access role. Or if any other policy is required, we can add the other policies also. Okay, so next one is code deploy service role. This role can do the deployment to different EC2 instances using this role. Okay, so this allows EC2 instances under code deploy to access auto scale group or EC2 instances or simple notification services. These services will use this role. Okay, so next one is we have to first of all we have to create these roles in the IAM console. Okay, and next one is when you're launching EC2 instance, we have to we have to put these commands in the user data so that it will install the Ruby and wget Apache HTTP web server, and it will install the code deploy agent also. So suppose I want to deploy my application into multiple instances. So we have to install the code deploy agent to all the instances. Okay. So if you run these commands, it will automatically install the Ruby, wget, HTTPD, and it will also install the code deploy agent in that EC2 instance. Okay. So basically, these are the components of the code deploy. So what to deploy? So I have a 10 commits in my code commit repository. So let's say I want to deploy a fifth commit to multiple instances. So here we have a deployment configuration. When you are creating a code deploy application, at that time we will create some configuration. So this is the configuration. From this configuration, we will select what revision you want to deploy. So we have to select that revision, and we have to run the code deploy operation. So it will deploy to a single instance or multiple instances. Okay. So basically, this is the code deployment workflow. So we have to, first of all, we have to create an application, and we have to specify a deployment group. Here, deployment group is nothing but it is a SIT environment or QA environment or production environment like that. These are the deployment groups. Okay, and specify a deployment configuration and upload revision, deploy, check results. If you want to redeploy that revision, again redeploy as needed. You can upload the revision and do the process. This process will repeat whenever you want to deploy that particular revision again and again. Okay. Okay, so now let me walk through the practical. So let me create the roles first. First go to roles, create a new role. So the role name is okay. Let me copy this role name. Okay, this is my role. And next step. In the next step, okay, let me. Okay, so it will take 10 minutes. It will not take more than 10 minutes. So do you want me to stop or continue? Can I continue?
See, today you have shown about code deploy. Let's practice them that.
Okay.
Tomorrow freshly start is what I'm thinking.
Okay, that's fine.
Can you please share the PPT that you have shown to us just now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.